stomach hurt, but I'm here. Stuck with me.
All right, so good morning. We are recording and you're good to go.
Well, hello, everyone. Before we kind of get started, I guess we kind of just want to not even get started, we want to get to know you. This is like the purpose of our coffee chit chat hour. It's very informal, get to know each other. I guess we kind of want to see who else is online. So maybe just introduce yourselves. Again, tell us which campus you're representing, and just what do we really want to know about you? Just tell us kind of what you're doing in your program, what type of program you're in. So as a kind of a model, Darren and Desa, we'll kind of like introduce ourselves, tell us a little bit about who we are, our positions, I guess, again, in Division 45, and just where we're at in our programs, types of programs. The point is just being informal, getting to know each other. Imagine we're just chilling at a Starbucks or maybe a more bougier coffee place, right? All super bougie. But I can start. So I am Gabriel. I'm one of the Division 45 campus representative co-chairs. I'm in California right now, so I go to Palo Alto University, and I'm in a clinical psychology program. I'm a second year in the clinical psychology PhD program, originally from California, but I did do my master's in mental health counseling in Boston, so I miss it a little bit, miss the East Coast. But what I'm currently doing right now, my research lab, we're really interested in studying cultural assessments for suicide and risk factors that attribute to culture, such as ethnicity, minority status, etc. So that's a little bit about my research. I'm not only in Division 45, but I'm also in Asian American Psychology Association as well. I'm like a part of the education committee over there. So for those of you that are interested in other committees, feel free to reach out, because I think it's definitely important to be involved in national organizations. And I think that's the best part about being a campus rep. It's like, it's your chance to be a part of national organizations and actually have a chance to do something too. So I'm very excited to be in this position. But yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. Darren, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. So hi, everybody. My name is Darren. I'm currently a fourth year doctoral student at the City University of New York. A lot of different campuses. So the campus that has all the PhD granting schools is called the Graduate Center. So I'm studying basic and applied social psych over there. I think I'm one of the only people, if not the only person, who isn't either clinical or counseling based psychology. So, that's pretty interesting. And we'll probably have some good conversations about that if anyone is interested in, research that relates to, the division and maybe some of the stuff that you do as clinical students and counseling students. But also, the main research that I study deals with how people perceive people who belong to multiple races, and whether social cues such as, race of someone's friends, or maybe the types of jobs or activities people from multiple races belong to might actually change how people perceive and treat people who they perceive as racially ambiguous. So within that, I'm in my fourth year, so I'm starting my dissertation, doing all that fun stuff, and hopefully it goes well. So I am also the one of the campus co-chairs for the campus representative program. It's my second year doing this. So last year, I really tried to revamp the program and start to get some students back signed up and involved with some of the Division 45 student committee programs that we're putting together throughout the course of the school year. So really glad to have all of you here, and hopefully throughout the course of the semester and the next upcoming years, program starts to grow and really start to create a network of people who are interested in taking a diversity or cultural ethnic minority approach to some of the research or some of the practices that they're doing in their program. So yeah, it's a little bit about me, and like I said, really glad to have the opportunity to chat with you all today and hear about all the stuff that you all are doing.
Awesome. So I think it's my turn. So hi, everyone. My name is Desa Daniel. I am the Division 45 student representative, and I've been student rep now for almost 2 years, which is kind of crazy. For some reason, people think I'm doing an okay job, so I will actually be the student rep for the next 2 years. So we have really been focused as a student committee of offering everything possible to our students for as free as possible, but also really bringing our students into the network of Division 45. So we just have a ton of amazing, famous psychologists who are just awesome. And we kind of like turn the task back on them and holding them accountable so that we can make sure that students are getting what they need. So that is 100% why we are excited to bring back the Campus Rest program, but also really give students an opportunity to like kind of voice what you want to see. And so we have a lot of stuff going out right now and like getting feedback from you all. So a little bit about me. I am a second year counseling and supervision student, which is a little bit different than other students. Hold on one second. There we go. So I muted some of you so that there wasn't so much feedback. Sorry about that. So I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling with an LMHC, and I'm currently in a doctoral program, so I am a student, but our focus is how we are trained to train master's level counselors in predominantly KCREP programs. So like Darren, I am a little bit different in terms of what kind of happens in Division 45. It would actually surprise you that there's a lot of people who are not just clinical counseling or counseling psychology. So you really could be whoever you want in Division 45, which is why I love this division so much. I am currently a counselor at our student health center. I predominantly see African-American students, and I offer all of our programming and events to African-American students. And that's also my research focus. I currently do research on women of color as a whole, but Black women in academia around invisibility, around microaggressions, and some of the other things that our students encounter so much. So I think that was that, but I'm really excited for everyone to be here, and it's really nice to meet you all.
Hey, thanks, Daisa.
Of course.
So now that you know, actually, yeah, we have some other community members on the call with us. So actually, I'll kind of leave it up to whoever wants to talk first, introduce themselves, what position they're at in Division 45, and kind of just like follow our format. Again, really informal. We're just getting to know each other. So anyone that wants to kind of just introduce themselves.
I can go. Oh, do you want to go first, Sabri? Oh, okay. So my name is Yue. I am in Division 45. I'm currently one of the co-chairs with Tron, who's also on the call, in the Mentorship Program. And this is my second year on this student committee, which has been a great experience. Last year, I was helping out with convention planning, and that was a really good experience as well. So as a student, I am a third-year doctoral student in counseling psychology at Indiana University. And research interest, primarily I am interested in mental health issues and also vocational issues in underrepresented, underprivileged populations, specifically with multicultural lens in terms of races and gender, sexual orientation. Yeah. Good to see everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Abir, I think you wanted to introduce yourself too.
Oh, just kind of.
Of course.
My name is Abir. I am a fifth-year PhD student in clinical psychology at Washington State University. So I'm kind of an old one here, and I was really excited to get this opportunity. I've been looking for opportunities to get involved, and diversity research has always been incorporated into my work. So I mostly focus on race and gender issues. I did a thesis on the racial disparities in mental health courts. And then actually worked at the American Psychological Association for a couple years before going to grad school, and I loved it. And I did some differences in stress and coping based on gender, and that was wonderful. And so in my PhD program, I'm still working on more of a forensic track. So now I'm focusing on restorative justice and the interaction between restorative justice and psychosocial outcomes across different racial groups. So I'm very excited to be a part of this. I'm very impressed by the organization of this relationship. And I really hope to stay involved both because I'm finding an internship right now and that whole thing right now. So I really do hope to stay involved in internship and after. So thank you.
We're very happy that you're joining us too. Actually, as you mentioned that, and since it's like very informal, I'm brought up, I have a thought, well, not a thought. Your interest in forensic psychology is really cool because my university, that's not trying to do a plug for my university, but we have a forensic psychology emphasis. It's like super popular. So if you're interested, just look up Palo Alto University and see the research that we've done. A couple of
I know that it is one of the most well known. And
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of people here for forensic psychology. So if you're just interested in learning, but awesome. Happy to hear about that. Does anyone else want to kind of introduce themselves on the line?
So this is actually Darren. I guess my roommate had a Zoom account and was showing his name on the account. I tried to log in on my computer. But yeah, I just wanted to log in and actually be visually available as well. So hey everyone, it's me again.
I guess I can go next. My name is Chen. So like Yue said, I'm also one of the co-chairs on the mentorship committee. As a student, I'm a fourth-year doctoral student in counseling psychology at Arizona State University. Oh, puppy. So my research interests are in marginalized individuals' experiences in career and relationship contexts. And I'm trying to focus my dissertation on like the political discourse within romantic relationships, especially among marginalized relationships. So kind of interracial, intercultural couples and also same-sex couples. And clinical-wise, I'm just interested in almost everything. I've done counseling services, and I'm currently actually doing neuropsych assessment at a hospital. So it's very nice to join you all, and I look forward to knowing the rest of you.
Awesome. Okay. So is there anyone else on the feed that would like to introduce themselves? Maybe some people that may be on the phone that
Yes. Hi everyone, my name is Ailey and I'm also part of the student committee for Division 45. Particularly, I am kind of like the research chair per se. So some of the work what we're hoping to do in the future regarding that position is kind of really putting together webinars for students to be a little more involved into like what research really is, what are some things they can do to get proposals out there, grant writing, and things like that. I am a second-year doctoral counseling psychology doctoral student at the University of North Dakota. So similar to Darren, I am actually proposing my dissertation in the spring. So late March, I'm going to see a little bit of the light for that process. So I'm getting all of that put together right now. In regards of my research interests, I identify as Latina, so a lot of my research has been in the Latinx culture, particularly related to immigration, acculturation, and other transition issues across all age groups. Something that my advisor does a lot, she is more of a vocational researcher, vocational psychologist. So a lot of the work that we do is kind of surrounded with the social cognitive career theory. So a lot of the work that we do is related to that. But we also bring kind of like mental health outcomes, and we also discuss like mental health disparities and the mental health stigma that kind of comes with that too, particularly when it comes to engineering students. So that's a lot of the work that we do. In regards of clinical interest, pretty similar to Trin, is pretty open. However, I do have more of a focus with the Latinx community, and I'm actually in a psychiatric hospital this for this academic year, seeing both individual patients as well as doing different types of neuropsychological assessments as well. So Very nice to meet you all.
Well, it's nice to hear from you.
Yes, of course.
Anyone else? We have a wide variety of individuals joining us today.
I can introduce myself next. Yeah, I'm Spondita Goswami. I am in the second year program, clinical psychology program in St. Louis University. I have just started to explore my interests, so it might change if you ask me, I think 2 years down the line, but right now, I had experience in the past with acceptance commitment therapy, and so I hope to modify it to have a little bit available for the minority population or different cultures. So want to tweak it a little bit. My lab is interested in that. So we are currently working towards developing some multicultural therapy for a minority population. My research interests are mainly like finding risk factors for people who are racially diverse. So that like working towards uplifting their mental health. So that is what I'm currently focusing in. I have recently proposed my thesis, which is in the data collection process. So hoping I get some good data from that. That's all. Basically, I'm from India. I have been here just in the United States for 3.5 years, so quite new to the United States. But yeah, kind of I like working with different kind of population, and Division 45. This is my, I think, third month, I would say, not even years. So I'm kind of figuring out which projects I wanted to get involved in. So that's all.
Well, welcome. Yay. It's that fellow second year here too. So trying to figure everything out, life,
Yes,
program,
yes.
stuff in general.
Yeah.
And we have a couple more people here too. Hi.
Hi. Were you talking to me? Hi. Okay. My name is Ashley Castro. I'm a third-year student in the Clinical Child Psychology program at DePaul University in Chicago. So my research interests are broad and varied, but mostly I've been working on better understanding depression among ethnic minority youth, specifically in an urban context. And what I'm hoping to pivot into more specifically is looking at the impact of socioeconomic stress and inequality related to socioeconomic status and how that relates to mental health more broadly, probably mostly focusing on internalizing disorders, and seeing if there are potentially cultural factors that help to protect against the impact of socioeconomic stress, or maybe potentially make it worse. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm currently my externship is in doing neuropsychological assessments, but I realized I don't want to go the neuropsychology route, so next year I'll be doing therapy. And I'm really glad to be part of this, and I'm very, very glad that this coffee hour chat is happening, because I've had a hard time figuring out what to do on my campus, because there's really no organization that does anything related to diversity at DePaul. And within psychology, and I know it's needed, but I don't know how to even start. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you guys about what you've been doing and what your suggestions are for how to approach building this up at DePaul.
Very, very nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us. And we're definitely going to try and chime in on some topics related to that as we go forward today. And hopefully people who have had similar experiences at their campuses or going through the same thing might be able to shed some light on what they're doing, what they have done to try and alleviate some of the differences that people may have in terms of trying to approach diversity on their campuses. So yeah, has everyone introduced themselves? We have one more person.
It looks like we have someone on the phone. I can unmute them. We have someone calling in 973 number. You want to introduce yourself? You are good to go. If not, that's well. Oh, I hear you. Okay.
Feel free to chime in if you ever do. Actually, Ashley brought up a really good point in terms of just discussing what like campus representatives have done on their campus so far. I think that'd be a great like informal kind of topic just to talk about, chat about, if anyone had any ideas. But yeah, like maybe we can kind of use that to kind of lead our our topic for our coffee chit chat hour or anything else that comes up naturally too. So what have people done or want to do on their campuses related to their campus representative program?
I'll start. I feel like on my campus, we were really lucky because we had just formed a diversity committee, a more general diversity committee, and we were really focused on admissions. That's kind of what we were charged for, getting more diverse student population. And then so I kind of got involved in the student representative program, and I was like, we should make this more broad. So we can do things both with divisions and admissions and everything like that. So I was really lucky in terms of that, because then I was able to introduce this and propose being a Division 45 chapter, and everybody was really supportive of it. But it really kind of motivated us, like, okay, now we have to go beyond just admissions. So for the spring, we created our committee, and then added a couple people so we can get more resources. And then for this semester, we started really slow. We just kind of were like, okay, we just want to have a discussion about a specific topic. So we had a faculty come in. She does research on the interaction between gender and race, and she talked about gender and race within the workplace. And then so it was an open meeting, and everybody came in, and then we introduced Division 45 and interest in that. Everybody was really supportive. And the question that I wanted to ask was kind of, when we talk about general membership, people were asking questions about that, and I wanted to get everybody's sense about, we have the committee, and then we have like these events, and then what if people want to get involved, what does that entail? And so that was, I think that will also help kind of maybe help people kind of plan, because we also have 2 meetings scheduled for the spring, a panel on getting into graduate school for diverse populations, as well as a conference poster session within our undergraduate symposium that we're doing a specific diversity one. So we've done a lot of planning, maybe a little bit too much in the beginning, but we were really excited. So any feedback or ideas or other that to get more people involved would be great, like Ashley was saying.
Well, it's really good to hear that your campus is already taking some initiative in diversity, and that being such an important topic in our society today. It's good to hear that your school is being progressive and trying to recruit more diverse people, whether it's minorities, people from different countries, people with different gender identities, and things like that. So within that, I think that it's also good to think about, and as you were saying, not just having diverse students around, but also creating programming that reaches those diverse students. So it is good to hear that, you were able to get a person to come speak about race and gender, and your school starting to create other types of programs related to diversity that allow places for students to be able to be diverse and have the space to talk about their perspectives, wherever their identities come from. And then also having the resources and the opportunity to do research about these topics as well. So first and foremost, I think a good thing to say about that for everybody is that, when you are thinking about these things, not just thinking about who's in the room, but also if the activities that you're creating are related to the people in the room as well. So trying to find programming that reaches your diverse population, also knowing the population that you have. Also at the same time, being able to maybe even think about outsourcing some of those things as well. So maybe if your own program doesn't have any diversity related researchers or faculty or programs, thinking about maybe places in other departments in your school or other student organizations that might be more school-wide, and trying to maybe have events with them, or, you know, create events in which you can enlist students from those type of organizations who might be interested in psychology or, you know, anything related to social sciences and diversity. So really, I think a good step to thinking about how to create more programs is just outsourcing and thinking about other resources and other departments, other programs that you might be able to merge with and collaborate with. And at the same time, we as a division in the next few months are planning a lot of different webinars related to things such as graduate school applications and, you know, what to do once you're in your program and you want to maybe tackle some issues related to diversity that may not necessarily be available at your program. So we have a lot of different things that we're also trying to put together at the same time. And within that, you might be able to also have those events be part of your programming, so that you can reach out and get other students in that way as well. So, you know, we're going to try and really create some space where we can have this chance to talk in some similar ways like this. But a good place to start would be outsourcing, given that you may not have the resources at the immediate time to maybe get some of these things going off on the right foot. So anyone else want to add something? I kind of just went on a little tangent.
Yeah, so I'll speak directly to the membership question. So as we wanted to form the campus reps, the only requirements we really had was that either your president or like your main point of contact was a member, and then your advisor was a member of 45. And the reason we did that is because we know membership can be expensive. It is expensive, but also so that other students could join your campus group and not necessarily have to buy into the Division 45 membership right away. And I think that also allows us to give you resources as our main point of contact, and you to share those resources. So for instance, like the Zoom platform, Division 45 pays for this. And if you want to offer like a guest speaker and you want to Zoom that out and record that, I'm more than happy to help set that up for you. We have a ton of resources that we really share across the board, and we try to make it so that students have access without necessarily buy into the fees, especially because you are going to end up recruiting a lot of students into your student organizations who aren't necessarily psychologists. So people who are just interested in mental health, people who are just interested in ethnic minority issues, but also we like to remind people that Division 45 is more global than that. So like even sexual minorities or gender identity, those things are included as well. And I really want to redirect people back to our listserv. So like the student Division 45 listserv, if you request that, I actually own that listserv. I will add you whether you're a member or not. I don't even check. I just kind of add people to it because it's a really great place to get resources. And then we also have a Facebook page, which I post a lot of stuff to our Facebook page as well. It's also a good place to kind of connect with people. So for instance, like APA is coming up and Division 45 conference is coming up. I will post a lot of those events to the Facebook page so people can kind of know what's going on and things like that. In terms of recruiting, you really are only binded by what your university says or what your where you are says. So you can have undergrads, you can have graduates, you can have professional students. It's really open to that. And really, I task people to set goals every semester. And I think it's good to overplan because things happen. And sometimes people get sick and sometimes you can't have a guest speaker. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In terms of being in Chicago, Dr. Hector Adames and Nayeli Chavez is also in Chicago. We have a ton of people who are in Division 45, who are professionals, who are like nationwide, also international. So just by being a member of Division 45, I know it can be intimidating as a student to kind of reach out to people or ask questions. That's what we're for. That's what I'm for. That's what Darren's for. That's what Gabe's for. So if you are nervous about asking Hector, we can email him together and we can see if there will, I know they're probably not at your university, but they're in Chicago. And so these are people who would be more than happy, most likely to show up at your university and like have a conversation with students about what they can do, or even tie back into the community. I think that, I think it's a mistake for us as a division to get tied into what universities are doing, because most of our members are not necessarily on universities. So like having a speaker that way. Also having guest speakers through Division 45, so we can stream that guest speaker, and you can kind of do a watch party at your university where a bunch of students can watch all together and you guys can ask questions or kind of talk about a topic. The reason I wanted to do this coffee chat is like as a reminder that like you may be the only one at your school or like in your community, but you're not the only one nationwide, right? So like Gabe's in California, like Darren's in New York, I'm in New Mexico. So like we are nationwide, and it's an opportunity to collaborate. So if you want to collaborate in Washington and Chicago, do it. Figure out how we can share those resources and then how we can get together and like make our community bigger, because we have to remember it's like not just us, like Darren said, like reaching out to other people as well.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question, not to focus it on just my program and my experience, but I would love to get your perspective on this. So DePaul is known for being very social justice oriented, very proud of having a lot of first-generation students, a lot of immigrant students, all of that stuff. So what I'm I guess confused about is with the assumption among people at DePaul that we are like we don't really need a diversity anything, because we already are diverse and we already care about all of these issues. I'm having a hard time figuring out what are the things that maybe undergrads, I think I have a sense of what graduate students might need, but maybe for undergrads, what are they looking for? So I would love to hear about your experiences, what has resonated with students, what has been successful in terms of programming or events or resources that you've offered in your chapters.
So I think I'll speak to that a little bit first, and let other people go. So I would also remind yourself that undergrads are looking for an experience. So I think that it's a challenge of all universities to kind of say like, hey, we're social justice focused, therefore we don't need blank. And that's just not true. Not all of our students feel connected. And also remembering that you probably have some cultural centers on campus. So like LGBTQ center, African American college students, Native American, like you may have those cultural centers. I would drop in there, make a small flyer just about like, hey, we're going to have a Q&A, or hey, we're going to have a conversation about some political topic, right? As a division, our only requirement is that it fits within our guidelines of our division. So like having a group on popcorn is probably not the best group, but having a group on some social justice, multicultural issues in Chicago, especially because Chicago, like there's so much negative connotation around Chicago, like Chirac and all these other things, like apparently it's a war zone from like what the news says, right? So really talking about like, hey, as undergrads, as graduate students, how do we collaborate together? And how do we like do an event that we can all support and like give back and forth? So like even asking UA or Chun, we have a mentorship program. So what would it look like for your campus for grad students to mentor undergrads? Really just in life, it doesn't necessarily have to be connected to psychology, but like kind of creating those things. And really being like, hey, if everyone brings like, I don't know, $5, we can have pizza. Like really making it so people feel like they can show up and have a space. And really the collaborative space is what will get people involved and then get people excited, especially as undergrads. It can be so intimidating as an undergrad to be new somewhere and try to like just survive the daily grind than to like sit with graduates and be like, yeah, and like I've had undergrads tell me that they're amazed how I have my life together, and I'm just like, you don't know me very very well. Like, cause right, that's just not true. But that's the difference, right, between where we're now and where we were. So I would think about doing more collaborative events, tying into some cultural centers, asking them like, hey, would you be open to this event? Or just inviting a ton of people to the table and being like, hey, let's decide to do one thing in the spring that we can all agree on. And it can be something simple as just like, you guys could do like a before finals, like relax time, or you could do a coffee chit chat, like, hey, we're just gonna get coffee and hang out. Like, it really doesn't have to be something so structured and organized, especially as you're getting started.
Thank you.
Of course.
What a great insight.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of that and say that, a lot of the times I feel like just because you may have orientation towards diversity or social justice doesn't mean that the students at the campus are experiencing it in the ways that you intended. Especially if it sounds like, you're having, if your school is diversity focused and you're having issues with creating a diverse space because of some faculty or maybe some school regulations that won't allow you to do that, or for whatever reason, whether, actual tangible things or maybe more like practical or maybe ideological reasons. However, I think back to what Dace was saying, something that would be good is just knowing your population and just creating a space where students can be able to talk about maybe their diverse perspective in ways that they may not be able, they feel like they could at regular places on campus, like in the classroom, or, maybe, I don't know if there's dormitories or, student centers or anything like that. So, just creating a space where students can understand diversity in the psychological way that we all kind of understand and study it in. Without it being, like they just said, a place where it may seem intimidating or, where, it's just a space where students can just come and, just talk about some of these things that are on their mind and also get that psychological perspective based on maybe some research or some understanding that you may be able to bring to the table as a graduate student as well. And I feel like in that same point, there may be people who had the same, desires or same kind of issues where they're feeling the same ways that you are, but don't really know how to start or where to go with that. So, really just I think going and talking to people and going to different organizations, maybe reaching out to other students that you may have in your classes that are undergraduates, or maybe even other graduate students who might have the same mission, and then really just trying to collaborate to create a space, whether it's, you rent a space or, you have a lounge maybe in the psych department where you can meet at, and you can just have, very basic. It doesn't have to start out with something big. It could just be something simple, like something happened on the news. And, you're just creating a space for people to have a dialogue about this with that psychological standpoint of, the understandings that we have about these issues when it comes to, diversity, acculturation, gender, intersectionality, all these different perspectives that people wonder about but don't really understand or have the language to talk about. So really just giving that space for people to have that conversation very simply might be able to help people out. And by reaching out to other students and maybe other organizations, you might be able to figure out what would work best at your campus and at your institution based on what people are saying, how people are feeling about the social justice orientation of your school, and whether it's, talking or speaking to their perspective or not. Yeah. Anyone else want to add something to that? It doesn't have to be Desa, Gabe, and I that give all the answers. Other people who may have other experiences can also chime in about their experiences too, and maybe some things that they may have faced in terms of some of these things.
Sorry.
No, I was just telling you were muted.
Oh, yeah. So I just want to relate to echo what Dara has mentioned. And I feel like, because I was in similar situations in the past in terms of, like at our university, we used to have a multicultural center, but they kind of just shut it down like a few years ago. Because similarly, they think we're creating a multicultural and diverse population by saying we, as a university, measure by who we include and not who we exclude. So they assume when we recruit students who represent diversity, then we are creating an inclusive environment, which is often not true. And I feel like when you're having those kind of frustration about why are we consider ourselves diverse, but the faculty are not representing or actually working on increasing diversity on the campus, there's just that disconnection, and you're probably not the only one who's feeling that way. So I feel like one plausible first step will be connecting with students, and even just having conversations with them could normalize your experience and their experience. And just that normalization itself, I feel like, will be huge, because I feel like being a minority student in a space at the campus, sometimes it's easy to feel like we're being tokenized, like we're recruited to this campus to represent diversity, but nobody really care about our experience or our growth, in fact, or day-to-day experience, like whether we experience microaggressions, maybe not many people are actually experiencing that. So I feel like one is probably connecting with other students, like what they've suggested, connecting with organizations, but the other is maybe also having some maybe film screening or like workshops or some kind of format of educating other students on campus in terms of what experiences would be like on a campus, sometimes being of a different culture, or maybe creating some culture events that include all students to have some kind of a conversation, or just knowing more about what kind of background and assets we all bring from different culture background, national background, things like that. But I just feel like, I guess my main point is you shouldn't be alone in this. And I hope you're not feeling like just completely like it's overwhelming task for you to accomplish everything. And I feel like it's definitely a mental mindset change, at least for us graduate students, because we want to accomplish everything and we want it done. But then just recognizing like every little bit you're trying to do will mean a lot, and that's planting a seed in a lot of people's life, and hopefully eventually that will grow into a bigger impact, and that will change at least some of that climate at your university and your program.
Thank you for sharing that. That was
Thank you.
Really pertinent to this topic. And of course, you all are not alone in your divisions as well on your campuses. You have our support, so long as you stay in the guidelines of our program. You're not doing a lot of anarchy type of things. You have our support. So, even if it comes down to, a faculty member rebuttal, that's why you have your faculty advisor that hopefully you're able to recruit who can, speak on your behalf. Or, even if it comes down to some administrative stuff, we can maybe help you out with emails, or, maybe things like that make it seem more of an established type of thing that you're doing, and really give you that support in ways that we can, as much as we can, not being actually on your campus. So, we're here to support you as well, not just in terms of events and event planning, but also, for any type of things related to this stuff. So if you have any issues, you need to talk about a dialogue or how to start a dialogue with certain people, we can really help with that approach, given the experiences that we have and also the resources that we have in the division with other faculty and other people who are within the executives of the committee as well. So yeah, there's a lot of resources for you all besides all the events and things that we're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I also think that I cannot say enough, just start somewhere, because there's been plenty of times, and Darren and Gabe and other people on the student committee can totally attest to this, where I've been like, this is an idea I have, let's talk it through, let's see if it's possible. And if it's not possible in this moment, let's talk about how we may be able to implement in the future. And one idea was kind of our student survey that's going around. Is it really was like, hey, how can we get some student feedback? And I was like, man, I just hope 5 people fill it out. And we've already had 25 people fill it out. And I was floored this morning when I heard how many, just because it was we all know we all get those surveys, y'all. So I was just maybe someone will have some time. But you really don't know until you try it. And then if it's not successful, or you don't think it I wouldn't even call it unsuccessful. I would instead call it a learning experience, and an opportunity to like look back on what went well and what didn't and how we can change it for the future. So definitely don't, like, it's almost like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, let's instead see what's helpful and what's not, and then like give us feedback on like what you need from us, because we don't really know. Like I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's like kind of diverse, but we have one school, right? Versus Chicago has like thousands and thousands of things going on. So like I can't be like, oh, this happens at UNM and it's perfect for you, because that's just not true. You know your campus best, and we're just here to support you in those things, and help you figure it out. Like, if you send me an email or you Facebook message me or anything like that, I will, like, I may not know, but we'll find someone who does, and we'll get you that support.
Thank you guys so much. You've given me a lot of ideas, and I'm taking it to heart what you're saying. Just create a space and start collaborating, and things will emerge from there. Thank you guys.
Of course.
I feel ready.
Good. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, I was just kind of echoing what everyone said. Yeah, if you just ever need any feedback or just running ideas by us, if you want just kind of like a soundboard, we're more than open to email. And also you can contact other fellow campus reps that you might have met through here. I think you have the emails for everyone, so you're more than welcome to ask for feedback from people, because people that might not be here today might also have some ideas for you. But again, it has to pertain to your campus. Like, it has to make sense for your campus and what aligns with you. So whatever you're comfortable with, but there's no harm in just going out there and just starting. But I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any other comments on that? This has been a pretty productive almost hour of coffee chit chat. This has been very fun to hear from everyone.
Yes, thank you all for coming again.
So I was just gonna kind of reflect on what everybody else has shared, and I think that definitely, I think those are really, really good points. And just reflecting some of my own experience outreaching to underrepresented population, some of the things that we tried was we had sororities and fraternities on campus and student organizations. So those organizations sometimes has a really solid group membership as well. They have meetings, and being in contact with them and asking if we can come in and do something with you during your meeting or whatever they're doing can be really helpful. Yeah, and another thought that I had was sometimes it feels like depending on which population you're outreaching to, especially for undergraduate students, if we are advertising our events or initiative in a way that related to psychology or related to some sensitive topics, students might not be really responsive to that, just because they don't, if you say, we're gonna have a support group process an identity issue, sometimes that's my personal experience. Sometimes students might feel like this is kind of far away from me and I'm not sure how useful that is. So sometimes those outreach events can have low turnout rates, which is discouraging. But I guess something that I realize is maybe what students need is just to have some sort of social support, to have a community that they're familiar with, they feel comfortable with. It doesn't necessarily have to be this huge topic that we're discussing or we're processing. Maybe we'll get there when they're ready or when there is an opportunity. But just to start with something that's socializing or hanging out, I think that would be really helpful for underrepresented students as well.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, sorry, I had to take care of my my dog.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, and like everyone just coming and attending. I really kind of like this forum. Like, this is just my own personal reflection, and if it's okay to share my own personal feelings, I thought this was a very nice forum just to kind of meet everyone and get to hear from people on such an informal basis. So I think we're going to plan with Desa and hopefully maybe make this, I'm going to kind of an occurring thing. Okay, I was waiting for her to nod.
Yes, that's fine.
Totally.
Yeah. It's maybe
He's like,
gonna sort of happen. But yeah, like I feel like this type of forum is really important to have. Less formal and a little bit more kind of just like hanging out and talking, because we all kind of have these similar issues that we're going with in terms of organizing programs on our campus, bringing diversity to our schools, campuses in the way that's appropriate for each campus as well. So we hope to maybe kind of schedule these, and maybe you'll get to meet some of the other campus reps, the other members of Division 45 as well, because I think it would be really great to hear from what you guys have done, and maybe from what other campus reps have done as well.
Yeah, also having this meeting be a check-in, so some of you had some questions or maybe some standpoints that you wanted to bring about what you wanted to do. So maybe next time we meet, we might be talking about how some things are going, and then also we'll have some things for you all coming forward. And we might have a little bit of programming during some of these where we might try and share some of our ideas that we came up with in regards to maybe trying to help some of you all reach some of the goals that you discussed with us today. So, it's really good to hear that you all are doing your thing on your campuses. Keep the energy going. And of course, once the snowball starts to roll, eventually, hopefully it'll turn into an avalanche of diversity and inclusion that we all
I don't know if we want avalanches.
Maybe like a nice slope, nice still steep slope, easy slopes, right? But you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so, and I think that and I'll let you and Gabe finish this up, but I definitely want to say more than anything. I 100% am open to whatever feedback you have for us. And I know it's not often that you have a space where you can really tell us how you're feeling about it or tell us what you really think. And I've been more than willing to talk to people on FaceTime or one-on-one, so you could kind of have a sounding board for that, especially because we are rebuilding this program and we know that it's not perfect, and we know that we're struggling to get you answers fast and like get you information fast, but we are doing our best. And so if you're having a hard time or you're frustrated or things are just not working, reach out to us and let us know, because it also helps us change what we're doing and like be able to bring more campuses on board as well. The goal of this is not necessarily quantity, but quality. So we want to have a ton of campuses, but we want to make sure that they feel supported and they feel like they're able to do what they want. Also really do stuff that suits for what your campus needs. So let us know, email, Facebook, Listserv, all the links are in there, but I'll always email them out on our Listserv as well. And so just touch base in terms of that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Desa. And I echo all the things that have been echoed. It's just like a huge echo chamber here. Yeah, feel free to reach out. I didn't really have any closing notes. Darren?
I guess, yeah. Thank you for stopping by and taking time out of your lovely, busy Sundays, I'm imagining, to speak with us. If you can, I think we still have a couple more documents that we sent out. I think we sent out the goals sheet that hopefully people were able to look at. And maybe after today, you might have a little bit a better idea of how you want to structure your goals moving forward. So if you can get that to us, just so that we can have a place where we can maybe start to share some of these goals online, whether like a Dropbox or something like that, or even if you create resources, like if you're going to maybe give a talk about microaggressions or something like that. You can share some of your resources, like the PowerPoints that you use, so that somebody else might be able to have the same seminar at their campus, things like that. So we really want to start to try and make not just a network of support, but also a network of actual resources and handouts and all these different types of things that we can create an archive of, so that moving forward, we'll have all these documents, all this information about all of our different campuses, what we've done, and then within doing that, we can also have the opportunity to share some of these things. So as we talked about in several emails, we also have the newsletter that comes out within Division 45. I think it's every semester, maybe like quarterly. I'm not sure. I think it's, is it semesterly or quarterly? Semesterly, right? Semesterly. So
yeah, it's fall and spring.
Okay, so within that, we really want to try and share some of the stuff that our student committees are doing. So I think that we were able to put some stuff about you all in there for the newsletter that's coming out in this semester. But we also, would like to create some stuff for next semester and for the following semester. So by sharing with us what you're doing and maybe some of your goals and how you plan to accomplish them, we can also share that divisionally and have the opportunity for people to look at some of those things, maybe if they're not in the division, or for you all, trying to come up with some ideas that you want to use moving forward. And then once we all graduate, we finish our tenure as members of this division and as our committees, then we'll also have that information to share with other people in the future. So really creating that archive of goals and activities that students across all our campuses are doing, so that we can share that across everybody as well. So yeah, thank you all for coming. Hopefully you still have those documents. You can send them to us whenever you get the chance. There's no rush for any of that stuff. But we'll look forward to hearing from you all soon. And good luck with finals. I know it's that time of the year for everybody. It's definitely that time of the year for me too. So stay strong, keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully next time we chat, we'll have some more developments for each other. Yeah. All right. So that being said, are we good?
Coffee chit chat adjourned.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Everyone.
No problem.
All right. We'll post the recording sometime soon, hopefully. But yeah, thank you so much.
Of course.
Bye, everyone.